SoftBank just announcing it will take control of WeWork in a move expected to value the co-working company at about $8 billion. My understanding is actually it's probably closer to $7 billion this round, that is. All in for SoftBank, it'll be about $15 billion. At least that'll be their high water mark in terms of trying to find a profit. Let's talk more about the impact, though, on Masa's other big VC investments, including Uber, Slack, and DoorDash, and this plan to raise this Vision 2.0 fund. Bob Safian is here. He's the founder of the Flux Group and former editor-in-chief of Fast Company. Good morning.
Good morning, Andrew.
So,
good morning.
The big question is, Masa basically stormed the gates, if you will, of Silicon Valley in the United States over the last 3 or 4 years.
Yes.
He became the de facto buyer for so much of this technology world. You saw the valuations of everything go up materially. He's now trying to raise a second one. What does the WeWork story mean to everything else?
So, I mean, Masa is a true believer, right, that new technologies and new processes are going to change our future. And he's invested money in that. He's made a ton of money in that, right? But, you know, when you're out on the frontier, you're sometimes going to hit some roadblocks along the way, right? And he is living in that reality right now. You know, he has been an accelerant on valuations across Silicon Valley and startups. I think he sort of wanted to be in some ways. He wants to accelerate interest and intensity in these areas. But certainly with WeWork, you know, they're paying a price. And obviously, you know, was WeWork ever really worth $47 billion?
Can I ask a question on that front? I mean, it just occurred to me, what are they using to come up with a $7 billion valuation? Is it worth $7 billion, or is this... it just occurred to me, are they kind of lowballing it now so that they can turn around and say that they've fixed it and turned a profit?
So I believe that the $7 billion is pushed. I mean, in terms of how they restructured the warrants, the $7 billion is as low as you can humanly make it so that you can turn around
and say, we've had a huge success.
A, you can average in at $15 billion.
Right.
And then B, you have at least a shot at getting back.
Listen, Son and SoftBank, like, they started breathing their own fumes, right? And you know, they believed in this. You have to be a believer to be able to have the conviction to go in on these things, but they overdid it. Now, if anyone's in a position to recognize what the value is in WeWork, it's those guys. Right? And
yeah, but do they recognize it? And is it actually they think it's really 7, or they think it's 12, and they're going to come in and say 7 so that they can restructure it?
Oh, no, I don't think it's that. I think it's like, when I said 7, I think it's could be 8 or 9.
I don't see him as someone who's going into this to flip it. He still believes it can be worth a lot more money down the road, and it's a better investment at 7 than it is at 47. Is it worth 7? Is it going to be 47? Yeah. You know, but he believes those
But what
things.
does this experience do in terms of his ability to buy new companies in the future? If you're a founder of a company, do you look at this and say, great?
Yeah, and are you going to put money into his next fund?
Well,
right?
So I'm looking at it in 2 ways.
Yeah.
One is you're a startup with a great new idea. You're the next Uber. And I come to you and say, I'd like to invest in you. Do you look at this and say, I want to be in business with Masa? Or
I think you do.
You do? Okay.
It's not that Andrew, you know, that Newman has done so poorly for himself out of all this,
so
right?
do you look
have
at
a
this
lot of freedom
and say that he's going to make you whole when it's over?
He's going to make me whole when it's over, and I might be Alibaba in the end instead of WeWork. So you know that.
So I will tell you, I do know some founders who are in the SoftBank sort of portfolio world
who are wary.
Who find the way Adam was not getting rid of Adam was the problem, but actually some of these dealings yesterday, in terms of trying to make him whole, that they actually found that to be sort of a dishonorable situation.
Sort of icky, yeah.
Okay, but separately,
yes.
If you were an investor, would you give Masa money? And by the way, we're talking about big money because it's the major pension funds.
Would I put the core of my portfolio into SoftBank, into Masa's money? Into Masa's investments? No, but I never would have, right? This is like the cherry on the sundae, right? That's why you're investing in. These are all risky, out there investments. He's talked about this as a 300-year, plan, right? Like a 300-year business that he's building. 300 years is a long time, right? A lot of things may go right, a lot of things may go wrong.
Bob.
They're probably okay without my money.
Well, just offhand, I think he's like not losing a lot of sleep over it.
Listen, he's done pretty well for himself. He's doing all right, he's still a smart guy. Is he going to, get everything right? Nobody in this business gets everything right? Nobody does. That's, and we sometimes start to believe that these folks who've been successful are going to, hit everything right. And it's just not the reality. It's too hard.